Oh, did you want me to go? Oh, stream is live. There we go.
Yep, we are live now, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Illinois Green Party series. I'm your host, David Rich. We have a couple special guests on running right now, and the second one will join us. She's having some technical difficulties. But we have Eddie Espinoza, who's a Green Party candidate for the Texas Railroad Commissioner. Hello, Eddie. How are you?
Oh, doing well. Thank you for hosting us, David.
Absolutely,
much appreciated.
my pleasure. And then hopefully joining us will be Robin Lee Vargas, who is a candidate, Green Party candidate for Texas Senate District 27. So she's having some difficulties with the camera, and hopefully she can remedy those soon. And this will join us. So just let everybody know who's watching. There is a comment section on the right-hand side, top right there. Go ahead and leave any questions, comments, concerns, and briefly describe some stories of your own, whatever you'd like to do. So Eddie, let's get this. I always like to ask Green Party members, whether they're candidates or not, how they got into the Green Party, because going into a third party is something that usually you do very much on purpose. It's not like, people tend to be Democrats because they grew up that way, or Republicans because they grew up that way. And there's not always a lot of thought going into like your party affiliation. Sometimes there is for the duopoly, but third parties, I don't know of any exception where somebody didn't purposefully think, I should check out other parties and join them. So how did you become a Green Party member?
Yeah, I used to vote Democrat, and
that's usually how it goes for me.
Yeah, and in 2022, I volunteered for the Congressional District 15 candidate, Michelle Vallejo. And another fellow Green Party member and I were volunteering for her because we didn't want the Republican candidate to win. And we kept up bringing the issue of global warming to the Democratic candidate. And we kept bringing it up, and we kept up bringing up the topic of oil and gas wells that are contaminating soil, water, and air. And even though we volunteered for her, she didn't bring up what we wanted her to bring up. So I'll say this about the Democrats. They are disciplined with their messaging. When they say they're not going to talk about global warming, they're not going to talk about global warming. And we just got frustrated. And, my Green Party, my campaign advisor said, hey, why don't you read the Green Party national platform and the Texas Green Party platform, and see what you think. So I read it, and I was like, I agreed with probably about 85% of the content. And I thought to myself, if we're gonna get out of this global warming mess, the Green Party has the best roadmap going forward. And it wasn't even close.
Right.
So that's what got me started. And I'm an elementary teacher, so I know how important it is to implement the right policy so that we can give the younger generation a fighting chance for surviving global warming, or the challenges that global warming is going to bring. And that's what got me started with the Green Party. And then also more recently, the whole situation in Gaza, it's very sad here in Texas because no one talks about it other than a few people that have gone out and held protests outside of our congressional representative, the Republican that represents us in Washington, D.C. But usually there's no reporting on the news, and most of the citizens around us, they're not aware of how bad the situation is in Gaza, and the role that we're playing with providing ammunition to the Israelis so they can drop on civilian populations.
Yes.
Or on the civilian population in Gaza.
Yeah, and slaughter children. Yeah, it's fabulous. It's unbelievable. The imagery, the videos, the pictures are unbelievable.
Right.
Robin Lee Vargas. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Hi, Robin Lee Vargas.
If you want, I can continue while she's okay. Yeah, I was gonna mention I was gonna run for senator against Ted Cruz, but that was going to be a challenge because
Oh, that'd be cool.
Ted Cruz is bringing a lot of money, and the Green Party pointed out like, hey, this Texas Railroad Commissioner's race is probably the most important environmental race in the country. Now, why
Yeah.
is it the most important environmental race in the country? Well, the three-person railroad commission, those three oversee and regulate the entire oil and gas industry in the state of Texas.
That's a big state and a lot of oil.
Yes, and the oil and gas industry has had its way here in Texas for the past 100 years.
Mhm.
And what's been happening is that a lot of these wells have become orphaned, where there's no owner that is responsible for cleaning up the mess. So the state of Texas has to get that orphaned well into its plugging program, and they have to plug the well. And right now, Texas is responsible for 20,000 orphan wells.
Really?
And yeah, it's really bad, and it's starting to contaminate our freshwater sources.
Oh, that's not cool.
It's not West Texas, out there in the Permian Basin, where there's a lot of oil and gas extraction. They've ruined three aquifers. Now,
Oh,
those aquifers are essential for life. So if you
yeah.
ever go out there, the vegetation struggles to grow, the mesquite tree struggles to grow. Very little life out there, and those things that they're doing in West Texas is slowly moving east. So let me just say, the problem is not only in West Texas, it's also in East Texas, and it's in South Texas. And just want to mention that some of these wells were plugged like in 1970. So with
That long ago.
time, these plugs start to go bad.
Right.
So you have to go back in there and replug them. And this problem with abandoned oil and gas wells, it's not only a problem here in Texas, but it's also a problem in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, wherever there's been a large amount of oil and gas extraction.
Right. Yeah. No, fossil fuels got to go.
For
Robin,
sure.
are we good? Okay, so Robin's going to
Yeah.
keep working on the situation there.
Yeah,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead. If I could continue
go
to
ahead.
talk
Just keep
about,
going.
now Texas, the current commissioner that I'm running against, she's already been on that commission for 12 years. And if she wins this election, she's going to be on that commission for another 6 years.
Ooh.
So that's a total of 18 years of one commissioner being in the fossil fuel industry's pocket. So right now, the way things stand on the Railroad Commission, whatever the oil and gas industry wants, the oil and gas industry gets.
Right.
So we're trying to capture this seat so we can have influence on environmental policies and making sure that these plugging jobs are done correctly. And also, we want to ban fracking because fracking is the one that's doing a lot of the damage. So we want to ban fracking and save our fresh water sources. So it's this is, like I mentioned, this is probably one of the most important environmental races on the planet.
Wow, that's huge.
And without a doubt, we have the best policies going forward. We know exactly what needs to be done, but our problem is we have a limited amount of funds to run a statewide campaign in Texas, and we just don't have the name recognition. So coming out on podcasts like this, will hopefully bring in some donors. And for the record, we estimate that $5 million will win this seat.
Wow. Okay.
but we're very far away from
Yeah,
$5 million.
that's a good chunk of change there.
Yeah, it is. It is. But without a doubt, if climate scientists could vote, they would definitely vote for Eddie Espinoza for Texas Railroad Commissioner and also Dr. Jill Stein for president.
If they knew more about us, I agree 100%.
And another thing is we want to stop fossil fuel expansion, because right now, as we speak, they're constructing export LNG terminals so that they can export that poison to developing countries and get them hooked on American gas and oil. So we're trying to do everything we can to stop these export LNG terminals, but the fossil fuel industry is it's a tough industry to go up against.
Oh yeah, that's like the top of the top of the top.
Right, and right, and another thing I wanted to mention is that we don't want Exxon or Chevron to go out of business. And we want to
Why
make
not?
it because we need them to plug these wells.
Oh, okay.
They're the experts in plugging these things. So what we want to do, we want to take a constructive approach. Like, hey, you're going to be able to hang around as Exxon, but you're going to have to transition away from extraction, and you're going to have to transition to plugging and cleaning. And once you're done plugging and cleaning, you're going to help us decarbonize the Texas economy, because we know we can decarbonize the Texas economy because it's been done in California and in China. And, China has 1.4 billion people and we're only at 30 million. So there's no reason
300 million.
No, I'm sorry, Texas.
Oh, you meant Texas. I thought you meant the United States. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, Texas, our population is 30 million.
Okay.
So our vision is we want Texas to inspire other states and other countries to decarbonize the economy and clean up the fossil fuel mess.
I love all of that, and it's just you got your work cut out for you, man. And that's Texas. I mean, Greg Abbott is just a piece of.
yeah, he is.
I'll try to keep it clean for the kids.
Right,
right. But no, I applaud your courage. I really do, because that's you're gonna have some. You're gonna need some gusto.
Yeah, and another thing is we want to transition the oil and gas workers, let them know, like, hey, you're not going anywhere because you need to clean up the mess. You guys are the experts in this, and we're going to support you. But for the planet's health, we cannot have the LNG export terminals. No way.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, Robin, I think we're good. I think I heard some scratching and there's some noise on your side.
I hope so. I ended up getting on my phone. Yeah, because the computer.
You left this last time. I was going to say you can use your phone. So.
Yeah, I didn't want to resort to using my phone because I wanted it to be like I don't know, professional on the computer. But too many issues. I heard there was going to be a solar flare that either hit us today or tomorrow. So I was curious to see if it would interfere with anything. And you guys went out a couple of times right now. It hit. Solar flares hit us in the ways that our computers and devices start to mess up.
Well,
But
I had some odd difficulties today with my phone. Just like it would just sort of the cursor thing for like out of nowhere. With I had a full thing of bars and stuff. Maybe that explains it. I don't know.
Yeah,
so the climate change doesn't get us. There's always the solar flare. Something's going to get us eventually. So
right, yeah,
it's important to understand mortality. Well, all right, Robin. Thanks for coming on the show. And Eddie gave us his kind of background and how he got into the Green Party. I like to ask Green Party members, candidates or not, how they got into the Green Party, because as I was explaining earlier, joining a third party is almost always, if not always, very thoughtful and purposeful. You don't just happen to be one. Like you're a Democrat usually because you grow up that way, or you're a Republican usually because you grow up that way. There's sometimes people will think about it, but rarely. It's like your favorite sports team. You just kind of do what your family did, for the duopoly. But third parties, Libertarian and Green parties say it. I don't know anybody who would just sort of happen to become one. So how did you become a Green Party member?
Oh, well, they simply asked. I heard somebody asking for help. Gloria Thomas, I believe. She's part of our teams. She had just been asking for help with the Green Party, and I didn't know that it would be this, that I was actually going to run or participate in a campaign. But I just said, whatever you need. And they needed me to run a race. My race was supposed to be actually easier. It was supposed to be more in my district, or at least more in my city wise, but I guess they thought going for state senate was a lot better than going for, what was the other one? Oh, state representative. So it's my first political race, and it's kind of a big one. I mean, it's a large gerrymandering part of Texas that
Mm.
is kind of ghost towns. I've never really even heard of some of the cities that I would be taking care of, and I don't know their problems either. So I've been trying to contact them, but it starts in Alamo. It kind of splits through Alamo, Pharr, Edinburgh, reaches all the way to SPI in Brownsville, shoots back up to Corpus Christi and ends in Beeville. So that's a huge
Yeah.
geographical area. But yeah, it's been very interesting learning all these things with the Green Party.
That's cool. So you're a recent, you recently became a member.
Yeah, I'd always been interested in it, but I never really knew their stances or what they went for. Like you said, we grow up kind of whatever our parents choose, and kind of whoever they talk about in school,
Mhm.
kind of leading us up into politics. But I feel like there should be gradual change with politics when it comes to school, because I don't really remember them talking much about like the voting process and how to learn about the candidates and where to look for that information. And it's still really not available unless the people running make it available for the public. So that's why I like the Green Party platform, because we would definitely try to encourage the educational system to go further out, especially to the seniors, and let them start learning the experience of voting and what it takes and how to find different parties, because the Green Party being the fourth biggest political party is kind of like it should be the third, or like maybe first or
We're still
second.
a little
Because
bit behind the Libertarians, but yeah.
yeah, definitely. And they also explained to me that that was a big reason to run a political race, was to make sure that we stayed on the ballots, that we didn't lose our ballot access. So that was very encouraging, and I did really see, like, yeah, we need that. If we want the Green Party to become more powerful in different states, we really need to run people.
Mhm.
So I went ahead and put my name in, and I'm trying to learn everything I can. I have the 32-page platform
You have your
for
own.
Texas.
Your platform is 32 pages.
32 pages. Yeah. Last time I checked. We had, 33. My bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, it covers 10 key point political stance the Green Party of Texas covers. So
Oh, the 10.
this is a clean copy.
Okay, so that's just like
Yeah.
an elaboration on each one of the 10. It's kind of like number one, I think, is
It,
grassroots
it
democracy.
goes,
It expands on that.
yeah, it goes into expanding what we actually mean about each one. So it's very interesting. This is my second copy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
because
ahead. Did you have
I want to
something?
have a show where I have like a bunch of people on and just like maybe newer Green Party members and just talk about each platform position, what it means to them. Because it's, first of all, we're the only party that I know of that actually has platform positions like established, 1 through 10 and that kind of thing. I don't know. Republicans, don't really have, there's stereotypes of it, but yeah, but the cool thing is that each individual Green Party member, comes in with their sort of their own idea of what does green grassroots democracy mean. Now it does have a specific meaning. You can't just like make up whatever you want, but there's definitely room for like different types of like vantage points and interpretations and applications for sure. That's a huge part that we're becoming
Yeah.
for sure. So okay, so well that's cool. You came in running. You came in and just ran for an office here, a seat. How is it going so far? Are you getting any popularity? Are you getting your name out there?
My name is definitely out there. A lot of people, I think, figured that I would go political because I've always been an activist, a protester,
Right.
especially when Trump got into office in 2016. He wanted to make walls in all the wrong places. So I think that's where my activism started, and it hasn't stopped since then. There's right now we're protesting the Gaza war because it's not a war, it's a genocide, and
Disgusting.
it's heartening that, just like Eddie was saying, that the news media doesn't cover the actual stories. Democracy Now! Covers a good chunk of things that are actually happening, and it's just it's kind of ironic.
Democracy Now! Is really cool. She covers a lot of stuff in a very unbiased way too. She just sort of states the facts and moves on.
I wanted to mention something real quick, David. Something that's just, it's very sad, but we ask ourselves, where are the Texas Republicans and the Texas Democrats as far as protesting against what's going on in Gaza? And not one political figure in Texas is bringing it up.
Because most of them support it.
Yeah,
they just turn a blind eye. They don't care that children are being slaughtered. They don't care. They care that Israel is going to be victorious. That's all they care about.
Yeah,
and it all goes back. I don't want to insult anybody's religion, but it's all just this weird right-wing religious crap. You know, that like, oh, because Israel is in the Bible, we have to protect it.
But you know, like Texas is a big state. You'd figure just one
like
person.
Austin's like super liberal and
Yeah,
left, right?
yeah.
You'd think that, like they're known for that.
Yeah, and like Greg Kasar, he's one of the progressive peoples in Washington D.C. from Austin. He's a great guy, but he hasn't said anything against what's going on in Gaza.
The Israeli lobbyist organization, AIPAC. They like the AIPAC and the NRA like run the federal government. It's disgusting. So yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, it's the right question to ask. Is like, why are not more people not speaking out against it? Well, I think the answer is because they support it. That's about it. They shouldn't be. It's disgusting. Right. It's morally repulsive that they think it's okay to do that. But they do.
Well, now with the polio outbreak in Gaza, the Americans, or us Americans, are scared that eventually polio is going to get over here if it can be spreading in Gaza, and we're supporting Israel armies. I'm sure American armies have to go somehow, and at some point they meet halfway. So if Israel soldiers get polio and transfer it to us, and polio was supposed to be eradicated a long time ago. So
yeah, I mean, it's
now they're kind of scared.
It's shocking.
That's the latest news.
Yeah, it's shocking that it's around at all, because I thought it was gone, like completely everywhere, gone. But
we may be vaxxed for it, but doesn't mean that it is completely gone. It surfaced again, and it's because they're very unsanitary conditions right now in Gaza that they're literally showing footage of them blowing up a water system.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Israel is so prone to like be like, look at all the bad stuff we do. It's live on camera for you to see, and people still decide to support them. It's like you said, ridiculous.
That's why we need to try to get Dr. Jill Stein elected, because she's the only one that would like.
Oh, she would end it. She would just stop the support.
Day one.
That's it.
Yeah, and
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's very important that we try to get Dr. Stein elected, and we know that she's facing an uphill battle. She doesn't get very much airtime on the corporate media, but boy, if we need somebody to win, it's Dr. Stein, because she's already said like, hey, we need to end our empire and stop funding these foreign bases and bring all that money home here to the homeland so that we can start working on our civil infrastructure and start getting ready for global warming challenges that are already here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of activity as from their infrastructure plan that was it last year or the year before.
I'm sorry,
am I breaking up
you
again?
You cut off a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just saying that whatever infrastructure
it kind of keeps happening.
Can you hear me, Eddie?
Yeah, I think Robin's the one with the
Okay,
bad
yeah.
connection, I think.
I just got you back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, it
Okay.
might be my phone.
Yeah, 'cause we're
It's
not
on
talking-
Wi-Fi, but still.
But I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Tell me about the infrastructure. The infrastructure bill and like all the green technology and new stuff going on. I don't know. I don't think that that probably sounds like too little, too late kind of an attempt here. I mean, like again, like we were talking before, the IPCC, which is not the most accurate, but it's sufficiently accurate, keeps just dire warnings all the time. Like we got to stop. We got to do something. We got to do something.
Right.
This is it.
Right.
And we were talking before too, Robin, is that we're this year right now we're breaking records as far as like the. I mean, we're actually at the what was it? The yearly average of the average is already higher now than it ever has been in the past.
Yeah, this time
Yeah.
around last year, we were still in the 90s, and as soon as
Yeah.
that rain stopped, it spiked back to 100.
No, it's
So,
crazy, and it just keeps getting. So it's the highest year on record. More flooding, more intense storms, more frequently, hurricanes, wildfires, all this. It's all we're like this year. We're breaking like all sorts of those records. They're happening earlier in the season than they ever have before. So all the things that a lot of the things that the scientists said were going to happen are happening now. A lot of what causes the public to not. Some people in the public to not consider climate change is that some of the specifics of some of the models in the past were not accurate. So like the whole thing's a hoax because they got a couple things wrong. Well, science doesn't really work that way. So there's still a high amount of predictive value in their claims. What were you going to say, Eddie?
Yeah, it's just I mean everything's connected. We're releasing more greenhouse gases than it. I mean it's we're pushing out more greenhouse gases, so that's gonna lead to a warming planet, and then that means your poles are starting to melt. And I think 2 days ago, Antarctica had like a temperature anomaly of 24 degrees Celsius,
Which is
that's
unheard of.
and it's in their winter.
Right. No, it's unheard of.
So yeah, that's
You're right. The
scary
glaciers
stuff.
are melting. The ice is breaking, which means it's the coastal lines have disappeared on average by about 8 inches over the last, or no, it's 12 inches over the last 70 years, and 8 of those inches are in the last 30. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's
And,
happening. We can see it happening.
Yeah, and the frustrating part is that the Republicans would just say, "No, it's a hoax."
Yeah.
The
Trump
Democrats
thinks
know.
it's a hoax.
Yeah, the Democrats know that it's a problem, but they choose to invest in corporations and in nonsensical policy such as carbon capture. And they're investing billions in carbon capture, and that money should be going to the Amazonian rainforest,
Right.
and the Congolese rainforest, and the rainforest in Southeast Asia, because those are starting to turn into savannas. So the carbon capture nonsense needs to stop.
Yeah. No.
And you need to invest that money correctly.
I agree. If you want to sequester the carbon, if you want to capture the carbon, plant more trees and plants, and
Right.
stop
Yeah.
cutting. That's what I mean, nature loves carbon, and soil loves carbon. It's very, very, very good. I'm a professional horticulturalist. I do gardening all the time, and like biochar and what's in compost besides the nitrogen and the other stuff is carbon, and that's what makes plants. They love it. So yeah, so plant more of that stuff, and you'll see a reduction in carbon in the air. You guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fossil fuel industry keeps pushing that carbon
because we
capture,
got all
and
the
the
money. We
government
got all the power.
is buying.
They have a massive stranglehold on the entire planet because, like, if they all decided tomorrow, all the oil companies decided tomorrow, like, we're just not going to give you any more oil, the entire company would collapse into like just utter chaos. Petroleum is in everything. That's part of the problem. It's not just your gasoline or the oil that you put in your engine. It's everywhere.
Right.
It's great. Pen ink, every plastic or mold. It's all that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a world of plastic.
But
and oil is plastic, so
yeah. But
well,
we could. Oh, go ahead, Robin.
There's rumors that everything that's going on with Gaza is for oil, and until they, I don't know, get the oil, they probably won't stop what they're doing. but that's a fat rumor that nobody wants to really talk about or, you know, say is actually happening. Why else would we put a port there that wasn't even used to help Palestinians? A lot of it goes back to Palestine when it comes to global change, because you can't bomb that much and not expect some type of climate change with that much destruction. I don't know. Some scientists have tried to talk about it, but they get silenced pretty fast, and not in a bad way, but you know, they just don't want them to talk about it. It's like fear mongering, you know, you're scaring people, but they should be scared.
I agree.
And real quick, David, I wanted to mention that we have an opportunity to decarbonize the economy, and if we were to do it, it would be better for the environment, and it would be better for our economy. Because I mean, we have the potential to put solar panels on residential areas and businesses, and you know, we produce the energy right there on the spot instead of having these massive solar farms that you have to, you know, carry that electricity via transmission lines. And here in Texas, we're going to be in some hot water, like for the next from here on out, as far as our summers, because our summers are going to be hotter, and that means there's going to be more AC use. So these transmission lines are going to be under heavy load, and they're going to be exposed to high temperatures. So it is imperative that we regionalize energy and food production. And that's why everybody should be voting for the Green Party. And you know, and it's not rocket science. It's like we can't do it. We can do it. But we need the right people in office with the right vision and the right policies. And we can turn things around in 10, 15 years. And there's no doubt in my mind. But if we're going to keep voting for the corporate people, you know, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. So, you know, the way to change things is to vote green. You know, look at our platform. Look at, like here in Texas, look at myself and at Dr. Stein and see if the other candidates have better policies. But that's not going to be the case. You know, again, as I mentioned earlier, if climate scientists had to vote, if Mother Earth could vote, without a doubt, she would be voting Green Party right now.
Well said. Yeah, you're right. She is on our side.
I think she'd be messy and give us all the job. Green Party, Democrat, and Republican work together.
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not happening this
That,
week.
that would be interesting.
That would definitely be
Because,
interesting.
But you
yeah,
know,
one of,
oh, go ahead, Robert.
It'd
Sorry.
make me
one of
rethink my
our,
religious beliefs.
what was that?
It would make me rethink my religious beliefs or lack of.
Well, it would be
If the two parties actually started getting along, I'd be like, okay, that maybe
three parties.
maybe there are miracles. Three parties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ecological wisdom is part of our platform key points. So that's why I think all of us, you know, we would be the ecological wisdom. They would be, one of them would be about money, and the other one would probably be about religion. And maybe all together we could find a way to make it work. But that is far-fetched.
Pretty
getting the Green Party known is pretty much our goal, I think, for this race. Win or lose, as long as there's a seed being planted in everybody's brains, like, oh, there's more options. There always has been, is the big point. Yeah.
It is the point, and it's just unfortunate how like the whole thing is rigged against third parties. Like ballot access is extremely difficult for us. And even if you do get enough signatures, say, to get on the ballot, then usually it's the Democrats sick their lawyer dogs on the petitions to, like, sorry, that I isn't dotted, cross that one out. So like if you need to get like 10,000, say, signatures, like legitimately, you need 20, because they're going to go through and they're going to start just slashing names. And there's all sorts of other horror stories about manipulation and stuff like that. And it's gross. Getting the name of the Green Party out there, and this, the Green Party's notoriety is growing. That's for sure. I know we'll see more people or hear about more people that hear about it. though Jill Stein, you're right, Eddie. Jill Stein is not on the big networks enough. She's made an appearance here and there, and on the bigger like kind of internet shows like The Hill, Sabby Sav, stuff like that. The more popular ones like this, but more popular. She's all over those. She was on this show actually about 2 months ago.
I just wanted to say her performance in that debate in Las Vegas was something else.
Yeah,
she did not fumble on her words once.
Very intelligent woman.
Oh, if they put her in with Kamala Harris and Trump, yeah, she would run circles around them.
Oh yeah, she's a doctor. Like literally, she has a doctorate. Yeah. So I mean, she's incredibly intelligent,
right?
And she's been an activist too, like since the '60s. So she knows all the issues very, very well. No, she's fabulous. No, she's absolutely fabulous.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, America, we all know that it's a popularity contest. It's not a brains contest. So
that's unfortunately true. I mean, Trump is one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life.
I know, and Biden runs second on that, and Biden dropping just sparked a high interest in the Democratic race because now they're like, okay, the age doesn't matter.
Right.
She's a female.
Right.
And she's been doing this the last 4 years. Even though I haven't seen her in the last 4 years, I feel like she's been hiding under a rock in some other country.
Well, in her, I agree. Vice presidents don't get a lot of media attention, generally speaking. But no, you're right. And like her popularity has just grown exponentially, like just huge.
Yeah, skyrocketed.
She made over $100 million in grassroots donation in 2 days, which is another broken record. A record broken, sorry. And she's, I mean, amongst the Democrats, she's becoming very, very, very popular. I think personally that's just a more testament to like just the sigh of relief after Biden stepped down, because I mean the vast majority of the Democrats polled did not want him to run, so he steps down out of the race, and everybody's just like, oh, it could have been any. I think it could have been any other Democrat that took his place, and they would be getting the same responses she is. But yeah, she's been doing this for 3.5 years. She was a senator for however long. She was Attorney General of California for however long. She's been around, she knows what she's doing, and she's intelligent too and decently spoken.
I was a bit disappointed to hear that she does not support a ban on fracking, but she's got to play to the center right. So I understand.
She's playing all centers right now.
Don't forget.
I was disappointed in that.
Well, no, I mean, because Biden was anti-fracking at one point and then changed his mind. I don't know why, but okay.
The pressure.
Probably. I mean, the fracking is just disgusting. So I would assume that she would stay consistent with what his policies were, at least for now. If she gets into office, she'll do what she wants. But fracking's got to go. Fracking's awful. And so just keep in mind, everybody, like, these Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all these other people that are, up there on the Hill, the vast majority of them are moderate Democrats, and they've made that quite clear. They're still, they're centrist. And, so like we have Tom Hartman and Stephanie Miller. They're like, leftist, progressive videographers like myself, video podcasters, sorry. But they love Biden and Harris, and they love the Democratic Party. And I don't understand why, because the people who are in charge of the Democratic Party are not progressives. They are not. The Green Party is easily the most progressive party in the country. Easily. There's an argument that Jill Stein offers that just if you look at the timing of it, the Green Party might have even started the progressive movement, that which we call the progressive movement. I'll forego that whole thing, but so it's just ridiculous. Anybody who claims to be a progressive but loves the mainstream Democrats. Anyway, I'm taking up too much time. All right, Robin, did you want to say something?
Well, I do feel like the Green Party to people seems like a chore because we want to help the environment. We want to find ways to be sustainable, and people just see that as like, oh, I need to bring one of these everywhere and not use plastic bottles or not get my Starbucks or, yes, it would be all types of small but very impactful changes. We need to change our view on plastics. We need to go back to the old ways where we made more glass things. It's better that it could be break and then break down over time instead of just stay in a landfill for 500 years. You know, our trash will be what they discover centuries from now and be like, they were so intelligent. Like, no,
No.
we should have took plastic out a long time ago. But
Mhm.
that's just a little ounce of how our society functions. You know, whatever's easier, we adapt to, no matter how bad it is. So I think as the Greens, we're definitely trying to show people it's not hard, it's not a chore. Once you get used to it, you grow on it. You know, like I can't go anywhere without this thing. And when
Mhm.
I do, I'm like, oh, I forgot my water. I'm thirsty. And I try my hardest not to buy a plastic water bottle that I know. And if I do, I try to fill it with plastic. Eco Brick Creation. One of my friends was doing it, and he left to another country to learn Adobe home, to make homes out of Adobe mud or something like that. And I took over his water bottle, I don't know, project. But it's been interesting
Okay.
trying to find sustainable ways. What was that, Eddie?
No, you had broken up for a little bit,
Oh,
but
okay.
it came back on.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, and
Yeah.
there's 1,000 things each individual can do to kind of help out. But unless we go after the big movers and shakers of stuff, the oil companies and the fracking companies and the plastic companies and so on and so forth, it's going to be a tough fight if it's just like individual people switching from plastic bottles to, permanent containers. But no, but it's still something worthwhile doing. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like I try to not use a lot of plastic. Like if I'm out a lot, and I garden, and so if I'm in a pinch, I need a bottle of water. I'll do that, but I'll reuse that plastic bottle 30 times before I get rid of it. That kind of thing. So yeah. Eddie. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're gonna say something.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say you broke up, David. Now I think it's my internet that's glitching.
Yeah,
a
it's
bit.
not. I think the sun. Well, you guys are closer to the equator, so you're technically closer to the sun. And because I'm not getting any problems up here at all, I can hear and see you just fine. But
solar flares act in different ways. They interfere with some parts, some places, some people. But all that is super weird too. Like I didn't even know about solar flares until this year or last year. And when they would hit, things would go wrong. I think we got a major one, and a lot of people didn't even know what was going on. Like the internet was down, and airplanes were going to fly into each other, because that's the type of things solar flares can do. They can definitely mess up airline activity and all that. So, and that's another thing, like nobody knows about solar flares. They don't think they exist. The sun is just the thing that provides light and grows plants, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Yeah.
Yes, it is. There's all sorts of things. Sorry, go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I wanted to mention one thing I like about the Green Party is that we're about solutions,
Mm-hmm.
and and brainstorming and problem solving, and that's good to see from a political party. I don't have anything. Well, a little bit. I don't have anything against Trump or Biden or Harris, but the top down model of the decision making process is just not effective. I wouldn't have a problem with corporate rule, but usually the corporate people are the ones with the worst policy. So it's frustrating, but I'm glad to see that the Green Party is about innovating and seeing ideas from around the globe and trying to do the right thing. And it's tough work, but hey, when you're trying to defend Mother Earth and trying to preserve it for future generations, the battle is worth it. The battle is very worth it.
I agree. Well said. Can you talk a little bit about your specific campaigns? Like, what about the area like District 27, Robin? I know you said you're trying to reach out to some of the communities and find out what's going on there. But at this point, have you gotten any feedback on what you should be kind of addressing?
I know SPI is supposed to get possibly a new road built on it, and that's what my competitor Morgan Mantia is fighting for. She wants another causeway, and though that sounds like maybe something that is needed there. I think a bigger issue is actually having a hospital on SPI. We had a
SPI is
couple,
South Padre Island, David. Sorry.
It's what?
yeah, so
South Padre Island is
Oh.
a tourist destination right
Yeah,
here
I've heard
about
of it.
an
I
hour.
didn't
Okay,
realize it
okay.
was down there. Okay, I don't. I'm geographically impaired. I don't know anything.
yeah, we have a island when, and it's a beach island. There's only one
Nice.
road to it, one road out of it. But it's two of them. So, there's one going in and there's one coming out. It only gets crowded when it's tourism season peak, like spring break and some holidays, summer being one. We had a couple of shark incidences where people had to get helicopter
Really?
airlifted. Yeah, because there's no hospital on SPI. There's no, I think they have a fire department, but that I don't think there's an EMS part of it
Right.
where
Yeah.
even if there is, lifeguards and EMS can only do so much.
Sure.
You're not rushing anybody
They
to
don't
an
have
actual.
if they don't have an emergency room or something like that. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, I think they had to take them to Brownsville, and from Brownsville they came to McAllen. And with a shark bite, you can lose so much blood in such a small amount of time.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we had any fatalities, but the woman that got her calf bitten off. I don't know. It's just a crazy
Good Lord. No, it's
experience.
like one of the top fears of the fearful ways of dying is burning to death, suffocating, or getting eaten alive by something. That's awful.
Yeah. So that would probably be my argument. Like, why are we not talking about having a hospital built, even if it's a small one with,
Also, it's got to be proportionate to the population. You don't want this huge hospital if there's
yeah,
1,000
that,
people. But
and I mean, yeah, we wouldn't need something big because the area is not big.
right.
I'm sure the population is probably less than 10,000 if it's gerrymandered with my district. So that would be my argument to her. Like, why are you not thinking about the welfare of your constituents instead of just trying to bring more tourism in, which the island always needs tourism because it brings in millions. It brings in the money that's going to support. There's something that they do to our beach. They bring sand in from the ocean because the water comes up and takes it. I forgot what it was called, but those are things you're not going to know unless you're looking at what the city council people are talking about in their meetings. I definitely didn't know. I think it's called maybe nurturing the beach or something like that. But that's why they need millions. And I don't disagree that tourism should be at SPI. I think it's fine, as long as they can handle it. But they should be a hospital or some type of clinic or anything.
Yeah, like with the spring break thing. I mean, that's there's such people. The college kids go anywhere, and they just this extremely reckless time of the year. I guess you probably could use some help on there. Real quick, Elvira Mihalko is watching. Hello. And she's asking, are you talking with working class people about your campaign? Either one.
Oh,
Eddie?
yes. Oh, yes, we are. I mean, we've got people in San Antonio, Austin, Denton, Texas, Dallas, Houston, here in the Rio Grande Valley, and we're trying to get out to they had a Juneteenth celebration, and we try to make it out to these local events and try to spread our message and talk to people about, hey, we're a people-powered campaign and we're pro-unions and pro-workers and anti-genocide and trying to get our message out. So yeah, most definitely we're talking to, we're pretty much talking to everybody. And another thing we're trying to do is we're trying to get the vote out, because something like 40 to 45% of Texans don't vote.
Oh.
So we need to get the vote out, and I'm sure you'll hear that a lot in this campaign season. But yeah, most definitely talking to it pretty much to everybody, but definitely for the workers too.
It's important.
Yeah, I think can I answer back on that question?
Please.
I think it's important to talk to the working class because with the Green Party being active in politics, we would definitely give transitional jobs to a lot of people. Transitional jobs that maybe come from fracking or come from covering up these wells, a lot of eco jobs that should be around, but nobody wants to put the money to. So we definitely want working class citizens to know that the Green Party is not here to take away jobs. We're definitely here to give transitional jobs to those people that have been in that industry for a very long time, and that's how they make a living. So we'd be very interested in all types of people, like Eddie
Yeah,
said. But
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
There's a ton of money to be made in going green. Lots of money to be made.
yeah, no, there's tons of it's a new because it's an innovative technology, it's new technology, and there's always like a lot of money in new stuff. So yeah, no, for sure. Real quick, Elvira Mihalko is also asking, what does Eddie think about the train thing that happened in East Palestine, Ohio, a couple years ago?
Yeah, they
oh, the
need.
derailment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the EPA should be all over that.
Do we even know
And
what's going on now? Is it contained? Is it like
yeah,
everything fine or no?
I'm not sure on
Yeah, I'm
that
not sure
one,
They
either.
but
they
the
had
road.
offered them some money to kind of like hush up about it, like the residents around that got affected by the smoke and the chemicals. But I don't
Hmm.
know if they evacuated people or gave them money to move away for a while, but that
Something like
stuff
to
was
look
covering
into.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look.
Animals were dying, plants were dying, people were getting sick. So it was a mess.
Oh, it is. It's
Yeah,
just that's just it.
those.
Like with all these. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the railroads, they need to be held accountable for their actions. And hey, if one of your tankers, spills into a water source, you need to be responsible to clean up that mess and making sure that the people are taken care of, because that is nonsense. I bet you that wouldn't happen in the affluent areas here in Texas.
No,
You know,
it
the,
wouldn't happen in
these
the affluent areas anywhere.
Yeah, they only
That's
happen where there's working class people, or people with limited resources. So, yeah, with the Green Party, no one is left behind, and we're putting the people, planet, and peace before profits and corporations. And these corporations, we need to rein in their power, because right now they're wielding way too much power in Washington D.C.
Yeah, no, it's just it's sick. Um, I was going to ask you something and I forgot. Well, how many people in the Green Party in at least if either in your area or in Texas? Do you know other Green Party members besides the two of you?
Oh
We've
no,
met a couple of people, but they're not running. I think me and Eddie might be the only two in Texas. I hope that's not true, but it might be.
I think it might be. What are you doing to get young people to vote Green? Elvira is asking
We are
because
definitely
Harris is sweeping up the youth.
I wonder how. We need some secrets, but they have a lot of um, questions. Like I said, the educational system really needs to work on their young ones, learning the process. The Green Party even has it in our Texas platform to lower the age of voting to 16 for the 16-year-olds that are already in the work industry. So they have rights to vote on anything dealing with work. Um, but we're both deputized to help people vote. So that's kind of like our intro, like, oh, have you registered to vote? And if they haven't, then we kind of give them information not only about registering and we get them registered, we also let them know that we're the fourth political party, and that of course they usually always know about Republicans and Democrats, but they're very interested to find out that there's more options, and that's very good because I wish I had known that at 18 or 17. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Eddie.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna try to make it out to colleges also, because we know that we can get some green voters there for sure.
Yep. Yeah, when I first joined the Green Party, it was a little bit. It was like a week after the last election, so it'll be 4 years to November 12th or something. I was surprised that there weren't more members than there are, because just like, I mean, there is a green movement understanding going on, especially amongst the youth, that the climate change is real, that pollution is real, the environmental damages have been done, that things need to be done. That I just assumed that the more people would be into the Green Party, but a lot of people haven't heard of us.
Yeah.
I've noticed
And
that.
a lot of the younger people, especially Generation Z, they don't like the political system. They don't trust it. They're not informed on it.
Oh yeah, no. I think it's 50%.
They want to opt out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to opt out, especially when Biden was still running, and Trump has already kind of scarred them or traumatized them. So
yeah, no,
it's hard to kind of reel them in, and we always have to start like, we're not Democrat, we're not Republican, we're the Green Party, and then they'll kind of give us a chance to start ripping out the facts. But they're a tough crowd.
Well, they are a tough crowd for sure, and I think it's something like it's around 50% of the registered voters in this country do not identify as either Democrat or Republican, and really want a third party option. A lot of that has to do with why they don't vote third party, is because they just individually talk themselves out of it, because they're afraid that if not enough other people do it, then their vote isn't going to count. But the thing is that each other person that they think isn't going to do it is thinking the same exact thing. So they're like, there's this mass, like, just talking themselves out of it thing. You know, like if you just sort of just kind of bite your tongue, if you want to vote Green or Libertarian, if you want to vote third party, vote it. Don't worry about what other people do. You know, so always vote your conscience.
Yeah, I'm glad they're willing to listen to a third option, and know that it's not just a two-party system. Like it's kind of washed down our throats that it's just a two-party system. You only have two choices, and they're very relieved to know that once you go looking, you'll find out that America has a lot more to offer than just two options, like it should be. Yeah, it's always been there.
It's just the Democrat Republican candidate. It might not be the Green Party. It might not even be Libertarian, but there's always the Constitution Party. I mean, there's all sorts of parties in America.
Oh yeah, I know. I found that out at the debate with Joe Stein.
Like a unicorn party now. There's all sorts of kind of weird ones.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
Eddie, we can say something because
Elvira
has another question.
No, I was agreeing.
Okay. Elvira is saying, what is the rent like around there and grocery store costs?
This one out in Cameron County, which is Brownsville, Texas. Elon Musk is getting a lot of land from Texas, and they are starting to develop the area near Starbase. And that is going to drive property values up the roof. So local people in the Cameron County are going to be struggling with trying to find good place to live at a reasonable cost. Because once this money from Elon Musk starts coming down, property values are just going to skyrocket there in Cameron County, and the local people that live there, they're going to be struggling with rent costs and trying to make ends meet.
Wow, yeah.
We've usually been the cheapest place to live for a very long time. A lot of people migrate here because we have low renting, we have very affordable food. But yeah, everything everything that's going on in the world, everything has kind of skyrocketed within just last year to this year. So people may want to say we're not in a war, but we're definitely feeling the effects of like inflation and price gouging and all that type of stuff. So maybe not the best place. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to mention maybe like a 2-bedroom apartment, probably here we're here in Hidalgo County where we live. You're probably looking at in a nice area, probably $800 to $1,000 a month.
It's not bad, actually.
No, it's not.
2-bedroom up here would probably start at $1,400.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but we expect with the changes that Elon Musk might bring, it may make a difference in that area, of course.
Yeah. So get this, David, real quick. So they're developing these export LNG terminals. and maybe within 3 or 4 miles, they're launching rockets into space. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
You
No,
know,
exactly.
LNG export terminals next to a space launch is probably not a good idea. But Texas is allowing it to happen.
That's interesting. I don't know who does the zoning rules down there, but that's kind of. There's a town over here that just built like this huge like townhouse subdivision about 15 feet away from like a railroad track, and it's not
Wow.
like a person railroad. It's like the ones that like last like 7 minutes. It's like right next to it, and like nobody's buying the houses. Like you think so, so like who would want to live like that? Let's see. Elvira is asking, what about the 3-digit heat that is only going to get worse? Okay, yeah, let's talk more about climate and weather and what's going on down there with that stuff.
We
Well, like
do.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well,
Yeah,
we
our water reservoirs, that's what's always kind of worrying for our area. Falcon Lake is at 13% capacity, and Lake Amistad is at 24% capacity. So we're hoping to get a tropical storm that'll just release all the water in our watershed. But here in the Rio Grande Valley, we'll always be having to deal with these issues: excessive heat for an extended period of time, drought, and tropical storms. That'll be with us for as long as we're going to be around. We'll always be battling those three.
Okay. Robin?
Yeah, we've seen a tremendous amount of rain in the last week. I think we literally had rain every day for 1 week. So sometimes we're worried about drought, sometimes we're worried about flooding.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in your area, you gotta realize what's your climate change. I used to think it was heavy winds and excessive heat, but I don't know. With those two combinations alone, you're gonna get a lot of tropical storms or hurricanes that are building up in the Gulf. Somehow they always miss us. Like this last one was directly coming for us, and then it just did a ballerina twist and went up to Houston. So
Pirouette.
sorry, Houston. Yeah, my dad was like, "It's gonna go to Houston," and he was right. We're too flat down here in the RGV that things avoid us, but excessive heat is our best friend. So Alamo, where I live, they literally say it's the city of 2 summers. Like that is their phrase. So that's
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
real quick, the frustrating part is that Governor Abbott is investing billions on the border wall, but that money, we need to spend that money on civil infrastructure, because we should be planning for droughts that we may have to deal with. And like the Corpus Christi area, they're already starting on desalination plants, but we need to start a program of conservation, and if we need to build or construct the desalination plants, and let's do it. But we shouldn't be throwing money away on a border wall,
A
because
border wall,
yeah, yeah,
Operation Lone Star, like
it's just billion dollars just thrown away.
Yeah, Abbott's a weird
yeah.
dude.
He is a weird dude.
We're actually a little over an hour, but that's okay. If you don't mind, a couple more minutes, is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Because Elvira's asking, what about guns? Okay, I want to hear this. It's Texas. I want to hear this.
Oh, touchy subject.
Robin,
Do you guys have do you have like gun issues
You-
down there? Like, I mean, I know that most of that happens in the inner cities. To be honest with you,
I'll say this. We have open carry here in Texas, and I would think that there would be more violence because of that, but I haven't seen it.
well, I think
At least here in our
some would
area.
argue that there's less violence because of that. Because if I see you have a gun, I'm probably not going to do anything to you.
Right. Now,
You
I don't
know?
know how. Yeah, probably in inner city Houston and Dallas and San Antonio, they might have other.
The cities have most of the guns.
Yeah, but here in our area, I'm glad to say that we're stable and it's safe. But yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, the police, the law enforcement doesn't want open carry, so I would be on the law enforcement side. And yeah, they should. Even though there hasn't been this outbreak of violence, I would still not want open carry.
No, it's weird. I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is a while ago. It was before like 1999 or something like that. And I just remember like coming from Chicagoland area where you can't carry a gun. You can have a concealed weapons permit, but that means it's concealed. So you don't see people walking around with guns. In Arizona, like they were walking around everywhere with guns. I'm like, it's just a little weird. Like, it didn't make me necessarily nervous or it's just weird. Like this dude has a gun on him.
Yeah.
A loaded pistol like next to his hip. I don't know. It's
Yeah. I think our platform very much recognizes that with guns can possibly come police brutality. And I like that our platform emphasizes that anything that can go wrong with a gun, there has to be consequences, especially if it's coming from an officer that has taken training to handle guns and has taken classes to kind of de-escalate a situation instead of just pulling out a gun and using it, which in a lot of cases with guns, that's what we see happen. So I would definitely not want to take away the Second Amendment right to have a gun in your house or have a gun that's licensed to you with safety. I don't even know, safety gun handling. Like in a car, you have to have it like locked or something, so.
Yeah, they're saying about like I know that like if you have a concealed weapons permit here in Illinois, you can drive around with a weapon, but like the ammunition, it can't be loaded, and the ammunition has to be a certain distance away from it, like 3 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
So like some people will drive with their pistol in the glove compartment and the box of bullets in their trunk, that kind of thing.
And as a woman, I think I would prefer that we have those type of rights, because if I was more on my own, I'm living with my dad right now, but if I was more on my own, I would definitely want some type of protection that I can just show and hopefully it saves my life. Right. Not that I have to use. But we're kind of getting to that point where do we want guns more to protect ourselves not only from harm, but also from police that are supposed to save us, but sometimes end up shooting the person that called them in the first place.
Oh, that just happened here in Illinois. Did you hear about that? Sonia,
I did. Yeah. It's horrible.
She was on the ground with her hands in the air, and he shot her 3 times.
Yeah. With boiling water in her hands, like
she put it down, and she went to the ground. I know. They told her to go take it off the stove because they didn't want to fire, and then he freaked out. So that cop's done. No, he's done.
I hope so. A lot of cops get left off the hook, administrative leave with pay. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he's
been arrested.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened fairly quickly that he was arrested, but
it's pretty blatant. If you see the video, it's like, cops are coming out and said he murdered her. That's it.
The fact that he didn't want his partner to assist her medically to not waste supplies.
On. Like there's all like he's going to have probably a multitude of charges. So real quick, and then we get I got to go. Virus asking, what are some of the top issues that voters feel strongly about in your area? That you hear about?
I think a lot of them are not very responding to the climate change, even though we as Greens always put that in the front. But I think they want to know that they're going to still have jobs if we end up taking any type of part in politics. And we like to reassure them that there's a lot of transitional jobs that would be in place if anything such as fossil fuels was taken away, or the transitioning would have to be there. It's not like people think automatically like, oh my gosh, if they take fossil fuels, how are we going to maintain life? How are we going to drive our cars to work? We wouldn't let it go that quickly, but we would definitely fix all the things that Eddie has mentioned with the wells and the fracking, and definitely get control of it, because right now we're out of control. We've been out of control since Trump. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, another thing is healthcare. A lot of a lot of people don't have healthcare in our area, so that's a very important one for workers and families. Is we need a Medicare for all. So that way everybody can have healthcare coverage.
And
that was kind of a no-brainer. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would you not want everybody to have healthcare coverage? Like, what? That's crazy.
When people make money, they want to keep making money. And sick people make money. Yeah, so that's part of our social justice and equal opportunity, public health initiatives. It's definitely part of our platform. So I'm glad that that question was brought up. Thank you to the person asking the questions.
Thank you, Elvira. Mihalko. All right. So, okay, you want to just kind of wrap it up real quick? We're going over by
Yeah,
10
for
minutes.
sure.
That's impressive. That means I like talking to you. That's good.
Oh,
I'm
you can go
glad.
first. You can go first, Robin.
Thank you so much for hosting us. I appreciate the Illinois Green Party.
Thank you.
I'm Robin Lee Vargas, running for District 27, State Senate. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for hosting us, David, and shout out to the Illinois Green Party.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to donate, you can go to our my website, espinoza, the number 4tx.com, and there you'll see our policies and our what we want to accomplish on the Texas Railroad Commission. And you can donate there on our page. And thank you very much, David.
Thank you for coming on the show. This was great. And so, it was Espinoza, the number 4 at tx.org.
Yeah, Espinoza4text.com.
4text.com. Sorry. Okay. Do you have Facebook pages, Robin? Do you have a Facebook page or anything people can find you?
They're all under Vargas for the number 4, Texas, abbreviated TX, and Senate, just SEN. It's all of my accounts
Vargas,
for
the
that.
number 4 TX
Sen.
SEN.
Yeah,
SEN.
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, same here on my social media accounts. I've Facebook, Instagram, and X/Twitter, and I'm at ESPINOZA4text.
All right, Espinoza,
Yeah.
like the
Try
philosopher.
to make it simple enough.
Right. Well, that's cool. Okay, that's great. Okay, well, you guys have the link to the booking page. If you guys want to come on, maybe in a couple months, closer to like election day, give us an update. A bunch of the people from New Jersey have done that. Come on a couple times and talked about stuff. That'd be great. I had a great time talking to you. I'd like to more know about each of you, and like your area you're in too, because I have like no familiarity with like that southern point of Texas. Like I don't know anything at all.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
that'd be
we'd love to
that'd be
do
great.
this again.
Yeah, please do. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to the Illinois Green Party series. I'm your host, David Rich. Till next time, be good, be green. That's right. I can't do that, but that's good. All right, everybody.
Bye.